ruins. It's not the capital, but it's still really cool. Really good for web swinging. Whee! Woo! Spider-Man. Oh yeah, not web swinging through here. What historians don't really know what it was used for, but it's still really cool because all this stuff that was built. They think about this, guys. They had to carve all these rocks out of these mountains, haul them up here, carve them all together into squares, and fit them together. Just think about how many Inca commoners there were to build all of this. And that's just one city. And they didn't even have superpowers or web slingers. Take a closer look at that. Oh yeah, and historians don't even really know what this city was used for, since it's not the capital. They think maybe it was a royal estate for rich people, or a trade hub, or maybe even a prison. They don't know. Here's a closer view of it, and you can see how big it is compared to the people. Check out all their terraces that are all built there. The stuff was built to last, even though the Inca didn't. Oh! Whoa! What is Franco Pizarro doing in there? Francisco. Okay, thank you, Spider-Man, for that architectural overview. And kindly stand upright when you're doing your reports. Stop doing push-ups, Spider-Man. In other news, yes, that is the Inca. That is they are most known for their amazing architecture and not having a written system. This just in. The Incas have fallen. The Incas have fallen. I do not know what is going on. Let's go to our reporter on the scene of the action, Barbie Roberts. Barbie, come in, Barbie. Yes, this is Barbie Roberts. Here, the Inca have fallen, as we can see in the scene behind me. But before we can get into that, we need to go into some background. This is Francisco Pizarro. In 1526, Francisco Pizarro, who was the Spanish conquistador and a relative of Hernan Cortez, that is important to know. Remember, Cortez was the one who destroyed the Aztecs. So yeah, they are related. And so he found the city and how much gold there was. Remember, it was all up in the temples. He was filled with greed, so he went back to Spain and wanted to take it over and told the Spanish about all the gold, and they let him return in 1532 so he could take the land and the gold for Spain. And when he returned, in 1532, when Pizarro returned, he found that there was a new leader named Atahalapa. Atahalapa had been away from Cusco, the capital city, for a number of years, making war with his brother, who he killed, and other people. When he returned, when Atahalapa returned, he learned that many of his people, the Inca, had died of a mysterious illness. Historians believe it was probably smallpox. And he also learned that there was a strange, pale man on huge animals arrived. The Inca had never seen horses, metal, or riding before. As Atahalapa made his way forward, that's him there. As he made his way forward, a priest stepped out. That's him. The priest offered Atahalapa a Bible and tried to talk to him about God. But Atahalapa had never seen writing or books before and did not understand English or Spanish. So he didn't know that what the priest was saying was very important. So when they gave him the Bible, he didn't know what it meant, so he threw it at them. Then Pizarro and the other men attacked. Now, you could ask yourselves this, ladies and gentlemen, was this a failed missionary attempt, or was Pizarro using this as an excuse to attack? You decide. The Inca had never seen guns before either, so they all fled as fast as they could. It was 180 Spaniards versus 30,000 Inca. Remember, the Inca are only armed with bow and arrow versus fast horses and gunfire. Also, Pizarro grabbed Atahalapa here, as we can see in the center, and held him captive. There's an up-close picture of him. Pizarro held him captive for 6 months. Atahalapa told Pizarro that there was about the temples of gold in Cusco and promised Pizarro a whole room full of gold from there if he would just let him go. So Pizarro agreed to this, and for 6 months let the people of Cusco take all the gold out of the temples and bring it to Pizarro. The Spanish melted it down into bars and shipped it to Spain. Pizarro then decided to withdraw his agreement, put Atahalapa here on trial for killing his brother, and then had him put to death. After he was dead, then Pizarro and the rest of the men chased the remaining Inca, those who had survived the smallpox and the battle, chased them all over the empire, killing them all by the year 1572. It is important to note, ladies and gentlemen, that while there are still Maya and Aztec people around, there are no more Inca. All the Inca were killed.
I love kids chocolate.
Thank you for that report, Barbie. Yes, that is a tragedy that all the Inca were not alive anymore. So, that concludes today's episode of Ancient American Civilization News Show. You have now all the facts that you need to do your worksheet about the Inca. Now, you will see that here are some websites that you can use to learn more about the Inca and their amazing architecture. Also, you have all the notes that you need. You can do it. So thank you again for tuning in to this week's episode of Ancient American Civilization News Show. We hope that you learned a lot. We are waiting on our music person to get it going. There we go. Thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful weekend and a pleasant day. Good night.